This is his shot to speak up on behalf of his family's heritage. While millions of people are now watching Hamilton on their TVs, for one local man, it's about bloodline. 10 TV's Bryant Somerville talks with a descendant of a founding father about today's racial tensions and controversial statues.
He goes by different names: a founding father, a title character in a worldwide phenomenon on stage. To him, though, he calls him something different.
Founding father Alexander Hamilton was who to you?
He was my fifth great grandfather.
To Douglas Hamilton, who lives in Westerville, Alexander Hamilton, an immigrant who became the right-hand man to George Washington, was his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Retired now, Douglas attends a lot of events for his famous heritage. He belongs to different groups associated with the American Revolution. Today, he says, an interesting present for our country's past.
Because right now we're kind of in an age where, a lot of this history is either being pushed to the side or they're trying to rewrite it.
In the last few weeks, statues across the nation have been torn down or removed, he says, for racist, sexist, or selfish pasts. Just last week, the Christopher Columbus statue outside Columbus City Hall was removed after 65 years. It was one of 2 Columbus statues removed in the city. Another is still under discussion.
None of us are perfect. None of them were perfect. But there's this feeling that if they're going to destroy the culture of this country, they got to start somewhere.
A couple weeks ago, it was announced a statue of his 6th great-grandfather, Philip Schuyler, would come down because he was a slave owner. Hamilton says he understands the sensitivity and expresses it was not right. But he views the statue for hundreds of thousands who fought in the American Revolution to allow independence. Douglas suggested taking Schuyler's name off, replacing it with the 36 African Americans who fought in the war.
I think you do need to keep the past. You do need to understand it. You do need to learn from it. But at the same time, you need to look forward and say, how can we get better?
Just days after it was released on Disney+, Douglas says some people are already calling for Hamilton to be removed because he traded slaves. Douglas says those 3 slaves were purchased for Alexander's brother-in-law, and they were all freed in a couple years. Alexander also fought to end international slave trade. Douglas fears society today will never be fully satisfied.
Are we there yet? No. Will we ever be there? I don't think so. I think this is going to continue.
As for the play, crafted by Lin-Manuel Miranda, Douglas says there are scenes that hit right in the heart, but it's important for history, for the key players involved in the American Revolution, and ultimately, America's future.
So if nothing else, Hamilton has, helped, do some more education than any of us individuals could possibly have hoped for.
Keeping heritage alive to hopefully have a say in who tells his grandfather's story. Bryant Somerville, 10 TV News.
Douglas Hamilton also shares the same birthday as George Washington.